Okay, so we are on the system analysis and design, which is based on the 3 learning outcomes. You have to understand the system analysis and design, and then using system analysis and design techniques, you need to recommend an improvement to an existing system. Obviously, the system analysis and design uses some methodologies, some information gathering techniques, and based on those information and methodology, you can recommend the improvement to an existing system. So it doesn't mean that you are improving any system, using the technology or changing them, but the clarity of their process is important, while the implementation is the secondary thing. Now, the third learning outcome says be able to develop a solution to improve an existing system. Now, the question arises that how you will give a solution. For example, in this assignment, within the scenario of this assignment, it says that they have a problem of issuing the tickets, in manually as well as online, and they face some problems of the limited seats. Sometimes the sold tickets are in wrong number. Sometimes they have different shows available, but people come in very less quantity. So by looking at the requirement of the learning outcome, you have to come up with the solution, and the indicative content basically guides you to study the feasibility itself, how you would be getting the requirements, how you would be using the or representing the process through data flow diagrams, entity relationship diagrams, and how you propose that how that should be implemented, and you will be able to give them a development plan. After post implementation, you will be able to advise them that how that can be monitored. So at the system analysis and design level, you are not really supposed to implement by yourself, but that system can be implemented by the developers, any third party development team, but you have to be very much clear by producing an analysis and design of the system with post implementation strategies and the strategies for the implementation. So some of the definitions related with this lecture, like requirement elicitation, how you would be getting the requirements, how you will be describing the process specification, representing into the data flow diagrams, entity relationship diagrams, and using certain diagrams with artifacts, models, symbols, and the solution, how you would be implementing those, and would really be helpful. But now what I want to advise you is that you would need to follow a systematic study. A systematic study as a formal system analysis design subject. One you will need is a kind of book. Let's say a popular book is a system analysis and design by the Kendall and Kendall.
Yeah.
What you will get is you will get a very good useful chapters like a system analysis and design fundamentals. It gives you an idea about systems, roles, development methodologies, understanding the modeling and organizational systems, then requirements, analysis process using data flow diagrams, and their ways, designing inputs, outputs, quality assurance, and the detail. You will get each and everything in detail. That's the one asset that you will need to study in a one go, that okay, yeah, these are the main concerns of being a system analyst. And then this, a whole scenario of the book can help you to move towards, your not only the knowledge, your assignment, as well as your future indications to become an analyst. Second is that moreover, you are supposed to use the system analysis and design using certain modeling language, because if you recall that a system development life cycle has to be carried out through the requirement gathering, then analysis and design, then implementation, testing, and maintenance. So until the analysis and design, you are required to produce the architecture of the system in the diagrams. So one of the most useful and the consortium, or the methodology, is the UML, Unified Modeling Language, that has been going through some improvements and incremental. Some three writers, they advise this: Grady Bush, Rumbaugh, Jacobson. So they have a very nice book on the UML. Its name is UML Distilled: Brief Guide to the Standards Object Modeling Language. So we need to focus on certain artifacts, the components of the UML. Using the UML, you will be able to propose a solution of the system. Yeah. So in order to give a good solution, you will need to come up with a good understanding of the UML, and then you will be done. So let me tell you in very short on the fingers that if you are dealing with the UML, you will have to deal with certain artifacts, like if I would say okay, let's write here. Use case, diagrams, class diagrams, class association, diagrams, and then activity, interaction diagrams. So like if I say there are one or two more, but you have to be knowledgeable about these diagrams. Now let us see that what they are and how they look like. When you talk about any requirement of the any problem or the system to be developed, you would find two things: nouns and verbs. If I say that a ticket of a cinema, yeah,
Yep.
and it has to be issued. A ticket of the cinema has to be issued. Then you need to write the whole scenario, and you need to find the nouns and verbs from the description. Yeah, the person who is doing the action, yeah, will become the actor. The person who is doing the action will become the actor, and the action itself will become the use case. Yeah. So
Okay.
use case is the diagram of the actions to be illustrated and indicated by the actor. The noun mostly would activate or perform the action. The noun itself will be the actor, yeah, which will perform the action on the object. On the object, the object would become a class diagram. Subject, verb, object. Who is doing? The actor is doing. An actor can be a person, or an actor can itself be a system component. So what you have to do, you have to write the description, and then out of the description you will have to extract the subject, verb, object, and the subject mostly is the noun, that would be an actor, and it will do. So in this scenario, you are using the use case, class diagrams, and class association diagrams, and then how the activity of the system will be carried out, and in which states the system will be fallen, how they will be interacting, and how they will be composed of into the deployment packages in the component diagrams. Yeah. Now let us see that how they look like. Now let us see on the diagrams. Like this one is the class diagram. You use a rectangle to represent a class, the name of the class. For example, this is a class name, then attributes or something like that. But when you really only write down the class, then there is only name, and when you really create an object of the class, then you need to write a name and the name of the object and attributes over there. So there is a little more information needed, that when you write a class, it's an abstraction, it's an model. But when you create an object of the class, then you have to physically create it and give the name along with the attributes. So you have a class diagram. A class, what is a class? Class is the, sometimes it can be interchangeable. The object which is to be acted by the subject, the class is the object which is to be used in the form of verb by the subject. So obviously the actor will be using the class. The class could be the, let's say, the treasury. The class could be the part of the bill. The class could be the part of the payment or invoice. The class could be itself a ticket. Now everything needs to be represented into the classes, yeah, diagrammatically, and they will be representing the objects. And obviously the objects will have an association between them. The associations are called the multiplicities, like one and exactly one, many, one, zero or one, many to many, or in different ways. You should be able to understand the association between the classes. And then there are certain more concepts, the generalization. Sometimes the one class inherits the another class. For example, if I said a ticket could be classified into type of the tickets, like the adult ticket or child ticket. So but the main ticket in terms and conditions would be same, but inherit the within the generalization, the class would have been split it into further concept. So overall, you have an idea of the class. It needs to be represented with a name into the rectangular box, and then it can have associations like a class A and class B. They have an association and they have certain roles in between. Now we come to the next, the association between them is further shown here, that how they will be interrelated, and they will be connected, showing their associations. So they have the association class in between. Now we come to the use case. The actor will perform a use case showing or representing in this oval diagram, and the name of the use case. The name of the use case will be a kind of a big, for example, if there are lots of verbs into the requirement, so a kind of small steps included into a sub function or sub module into a separate task, related task, they would become a use case. So for example, if there is a the ticketing system, there won't be every verbs, every, let's say, insert, update, delete, purchasing, everything, they won't become the use case, but the big units would be the use case, and they will be given a name as a use case being triggered through the actor, and one use case can include the another use case. Yeah. So the next diagram is a communication diagram or interaction diagram. The interaction diagram would give you an idea that, for example, the class has a message, then how it will communicate through which messages, how the messages will be passed. Package. The package, for example, itself will contain the class 1, class 2, class 3, and another package will have a dependency on the another package. Activity. If there is an activity, for example, issuing a ticket, the activity will start with this symbol, its name, and some of the fork. Fork is joining the type of the activities to be carried out in different way. For example, it came through certain logic. For example, if the payment has to be processed using certain process, and similarly the printer should have been ready on here, and then at the end you get the ticket to be issued, and then it came through certain sequence was issued using certain class issued a sequence of the create, and then it interacted with another object, it returned anything else. So basically this is a kind of language that how the internal programming will be contacting with each other, that would be represented into a diagram. You cannot being a system analyst, you are not supposed to write the code, but you have to advise how the code should interact with the relevant components of the system. So sequence diagram is showing in this way, and the state diagram would tell you that okay, when the order would be in this state, it can be, for example, the in the running state, it can be within the finish state, it can be in the, for example, issuing state. For example, if the ticket has been sold and if it is a show time, then the validity of the ticket would remain like a valid and only valid during that time. So the whole system can be represented, not only the ticketing system, but any system will you need to use these diagrams like state diagrams, and that we discussed from the beginning. So the book itself has given a very much definition on each and every aspect of the UML artifact, and let me show you the 1 second. Like it has started with class diagram, class diagrams, they are integrating here, and then activity, there's more indication is given that where you need to study and how you can connect these diagrams. And one more thing, there are certain examples here. A chapter on the class diagrams, simple class diagram, it is explaining that there is a customer, there is an order, there is corporate customer, how they are integrated, how they are interconnected, and then their properties, attributes. Then the next chapter maybe sequence diagram or interaction diagram. When an order has to be placed, the order object itself gets the quantity, gets the product, and an order line gives the next output to the existing order object. A product has to be indicated, and the customer has to be notified through this order object. So the interaction, how the different components of the system within the existence of a class or an object, how they will be interconnected and how they will be communicating. And then there will be the state diagram that we discussed earlier, the activity diagram, that how the activities will be shown, the package diagrams, how you can include the packages, how you can use all of the artifacts of the UML. This one is very nice book, so I will advise you to go through this UML distilled as well as the system analysis and design book, and then come up with a solution of your assignment, as well as your knowledge would be enhanced. So it's all about the learning outcome 3 here, and you have the PowerPoint slide for some theoretical definition, the book of the system analysis and design to come up with a solution, and the UML distills for producing the UML diagrams. And you obviously you will need a software to write the these UML artifacts. Most of the softwares are available. The Rational Rose or the Microsoft Visio will help you to create the diagrams into the UML. So
I've got the Visio Paradigm installed.
Yeah. So you can use all the artifacts of the UML using the Visio. So let me stop the recording, and then we can discuss the remaining.